Welcome to Relocating to Disney. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some maintenance that has to be done on a Florida house, and we're also going to be doing some projects around the house as well. I'm going to start off here with the pool, and this is the pool pump that's behind me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining anything here because Suburban Dad did an excellent job in his video. He provided a very high level understanding of what he does to maintain his pool. It's not too detailed, but you know what? Once you get a pool, you can get a company like Pinch A Penny to come out and maintain it. And Pinch A Penny has a pool academy that will take you through every step of maintaining your pool. But I'm going to give you the link to Suburban Dad so you can check out his video on how he maintains his pool. I'm just going to cover just a few things. But just know you will have to become a bit of a expert on pools if you want to properly maintain them throughout the year. Even if you have a service that's taking care of it, there's still going to be some times when you'll need to do some things out here with the pool pump. One of the maintenance activities that the Suburban Dad will talk about is cleaning his pool and scrubbing the sides of the pool and fishing out things that are in it. Now you can see here I've got a robot that does that for me. He just works while the pool pumps are running 8 hours a day, going around cleaning the pool. And then cleaning the top of the pool is another skimmer device, and that travels around the entire pool, following the robot, cleaning the surface of the pool. I want to draw your attention to these things. This is a termite bait trap, and our pest control company put these in. What they are is there's a cylinder inside of this that contains a chemical. The termites will come and eat that chemical. Now there's worker termites and queen termites and all kinds of different kinds of termites within the colony. And it's the workers that feed the rest of the colony. And it's the workers that will come and feed off of those bait traps. And once they feed, then they can't molt. And if they can't molt, they die. And if there's no workers in the colony dies because nobody's bringing them food. So the installation of a termite bait system around the house is about $500, and then you have to pay to have it maintained every single year. But termites are a huge deal here in Florida, and it's something that whether you pay to put in a bait system like this or not, it's something you should pay attention to and have a strategy on how you're going to deal with termites. Here's another maintenance item. If you have a deck that has this kind of stone in it, you're going to get weeds in here if you don't keep it well grouted. And regrouting everything is a pain in the butt and can be a little bit expensive. So you have to maintain that. And this is why I didn't want a pool deck like this. I just wanted a cement pool deck because it would be a lot less maintenance. But this is what we have, and we have regular weeding that we have to do. We pay to have some of the other maintenance done for us. So we have the lawns and shrubs sprayed for pests around the house and inside the house. And then we have somebody who takes care of the lawn, mowing it every week and trimming the hedges once a quarter. So there's a lot of that kind of maintenance that we could do ourselves, but we pay somebody to do that for us. Something else that's kind of unique to Florida, perhaps, is the bugs. Now, I haven't had a big problem with bugs during the summer, but there are certain times of the year when there's just a flood of bugs. They all hatch out at certain times of the year. And particularly with love bugs, they'll get on your car, and if you don't get them off, it can leave your car looking pretty bad. So we purchased a all-you-can-use car wash. So anytime we go by this car wash, we just swing through. It takes just a few minutes, washes down the car, and it keeps it looking pretty good. Again, not real useful right now because the bugs aren't horrible, but I imagine that is going to be very useful during love bug season and some of the other bug seasons here in Central Florida. Let's talk about palm trees, because everybody wants palm trees. We've got 2 tall palm trees. I think they're queen trees, or I'm not sure what they're called. But anyways, we've got 2 of them. And in order to trim them, they have to bring out a lift and park it in the front yard. And then they get lifted up and then they can trim them. That has to be done, I think, twice a year. Something I do want to show you is how to maintain the drain inside of your air conditioning in Florida, because this may be some extra work that you're not used to. Now, what will happen here with your air conditioning unit is there's coils inside of here. The coils will pull water out of your house, and it evaporates in here and goes down into a drip pan at the bottom of the HVAC. That drip pan then drains out through a pipe that goes outside. Because we're in Florida, that drain pipe is an excellent place for the growth of mold and gunk and all kinds of things. And that drain pipe will actually get clogged up with that stuff if you don't maintain it. Once it's clogged up, there's no place for the water to go, and there's a valve on your air conditioner that says, hey, there's too much water in here, and it shuts off the entire air conditioner. You then end up calling the HVAC guy. He charges a couple $100 to come out and flush your drain. So I'm going to show you how to maintain the drain so that your HVAC isn't going to shut off on you, and you don't have to pay the expensive cost of having that drain flushed. Your HVAC may look a little bit different than mine, but this is the float sensor that tells if the water is building up too much, and if the float raises, then your air conditioner will shut off, and then you're in trouble. Over here, this is the clean out. This is the clean out tap into the drain. So if we just pull that out, you can then look down into the drain, and that's where the water goes. The water, in my case, will go down through this drain, across the floor, and then outside. The way you maintain this, and I keep some white vinegar out here in the garage, is you want to pour just a 1/4 cup of white vinegar down that drain every single month. Now, if you are good at doing this maintenance, you shouldn't have a clog issue. But if you do, then you may have to flush this out. I'm going to show you how to flush that out. Flushing is important if you've got a clog, and also maybe once or twice a year. It doesn't hurt, just to make sure you get everything out that maybe the vinegar is missing. Something to pay attention to with these clean out taps is you know there's a T right here, and this T runs back to the air conditioner. This is where the water flows, and then it goes down. So you want to make sure whenever you're working on this, that whether it's vinegar that you're pouring in or it's water, that it's going straight down and it's not coming back to the air conditioner. If you have a concern that it might go back, then you want to use a funnel, or maybe find a pipe like this one that you can stick down in there that will bypass that T. And there you have it. The next thing you want to do is take your garden hose and cut off the end, and then we're going to stick it right down inside of this. You want to make sure you get it down past that elbow. And before you do that, it's good to shut off the air conditioner. And what we're going to do is run some water through there and just flush the line out. This is where the drain pipe comes on the outside of the house, and it is, you can see it's wet out here, so it's not completely plugged, but once or twice a year you do have to flush it out with some water. It's not so bad as long as you keep the vinegar going in it and keep it cleaned up that way. And that's it. We got a big chunk out of it, so I feel pretty good about that. There we go. That's how you maintain the drain pipe for an air conditioner. Another maintenance item, and hopefully you're doing this at your current house, is cleaning out the dryer vent. Now you'll want to clean out the dryer vent when you first move into the house because you want to get rid of all of the past people's gook. And then you want to maintain it by cleaning it out at least once a year. Let me show you what you use to clean a dryer vent. It's real easy. There's no need to hire somebody to do this, and there's no reason to put this off. So you just pick this up. You can get it at your hardware store. Okay, it's got that brush that I use. It has this brush I don't use because I don't know, really know, maybe that brush does a better job, right? And then my dryer vent goes up to the roof. So I get a package of extensions, and these extensions just one screws into the other. Next thing you do, you pull the dryer out. You pull the dryer out and you unplug it, and you disconnect the dryer vent hose from the dryer vent that goes into the wall. And then you take your brush and a drill, okay? Put it on the end of the drill, and you run it up and down a little bit, and you feed that brush up into the tube. And then after you get it so far, you add on an extension and you push it up farther and farther, and then add another extension. You keep going all the way until you get up to the roof. And you'll know when you hit the roof because, well, one or two things will happen. When you get to the end, either there's a cap on the end and you'll bump against that cap, or if it's on the side of the house, it'll just go to the outside of the house and you're fine. Now while you're doing that, you want to take a vacuum and set it at the dryer vent, so as the lint comes down, it's getting sucked right into your vacuum. Now I use a shop vac, so I take the shop vac nozzle right here and I just put it at the bottom side of that dryer vent. And what will happen is the lint will sprinkle down and get sucked right into that vacuum. Once you get it all the way to the top, then you go in reverse. And you want to do this kind of slowly, right? It should take you about, 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how bad things are, to get it all the way to the top. And you can tell by how much lint is raining down. You'll see it. Once you get it to the top, then keep in the same direction, although you can reverse direction, but in the same direction, just start bringing it back down and start taking the extensions off as you bring it back down, running the drill. Now, you do this once a year, maybe more often, but at least once a year, and that's how you prevent having a fire from your dryer, a lint fire. Okay, very simple, no excuse why not to do it. So let me show you how this works. Okay, take the brush, take the rod, and screws on, just like that. Take your drill, and now you're gonna put this inside the drill, right? Just like that. Tighten it up, and now you are ready to go. Now what's great is this is gonna spin, and even if this flexes and turns and whatever, it's still gonna continue to spin. So this can take a pretty decent bend and still continue to spin. I want to share something with you. This here is a fountain that I bought for the pool. And to keep it floating and prevent it from tipping over, they have these straws, and the straws are connected with little plastic clips. Now, what happened in my case is this had a run-in with the robot vacuum, and a clip came off, The straw got caught inside of the robot's wheels, and this little plastic piece came off because it just slides right off. This went into the robot's vacuum and got sucked through. And I checked the filter. I didn't see it in the filter, so I don't know where this piece went. But that's a problem because now this thing is so small with only 3 straws that it actually will float around and get inside the skimmer. Now this was cheap. This was like, I don't know, $8, $9, $10. Got it off Amazon. And it only works if light is directly on it, and then it'll squirt some water up out of it. So this was just, something to pacify me until I can get around to buying a real fountain. So what I'm going to do today, just so I don't lose any more of these straws, is I have some Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to be gluing these clips and straws onto this. It's not great, it's not ideal, and I don't even know if the Gorilla Glue will hold it. If it doesn't, I don't know what else would, just so I don't lose any more straws or clips. And if this keeps getting sucked into the skimmer, I'm gonna have to stop using it. Kind of unfortunate, but luckily I didn't pay a lot for it. If you visited Florida, you know that the water tastes horrible. Water doesn't taste horrible all throughout Florida, but if you've been around the Disney area, you know how bad it tastes. One thing you can do is get a water filter. You can get that for the whole house, or here, we've got it just for the kitchen. Now, I don't know how old this filter is, so I'm going to be replacing it today. Spark plug arrived for the lawnmower, so I'm going to give that a shot, see if it's just a bad plug. Work around the house. You might recall from a previous video, this thing was in pretty bad shape, needed to be replaced. Ordered a new one. New one is plastic. Now there weren't very many black colored ones. I could have got a white one. It didn't specify that it was plastic. It is plastic, so I don't expect this to last very long, but it is what it is. We're putting it in. Now of course the holes don't match up, so that meant having to, drill new holes in. Nothing's ever as easy as it should be. We had a rainstorm this morning and my boat capsized. The screen cuts down on the amount of bugs in the lanai, but it doesn't completely eliminate them. The bugs will still get through, especially the older the lanai gets. Small little holes will happen and a bug will find its way through. So that's why I have the bug zapper installed out here in the lanai to sweep up any of those bugs that do happen to get through. They'll be attracted to the light and get zapped. Next up is the generator. Now this is a small one. This is a PowerMate 2500. It's probably one of the smallest generators that you can possibly find. If you're in Florida, it's a good idea to have a generator because a storm might knock out the electricity. And chances are if you get a generator, you're gonna get one that's bigger than this. A lot of people like to purchase those whole house generators. That works out good if you've got natural gas service. If you don't, then you have to have a propane tank attached to it, and you have to have regular service for that propane tank. But for me, this is perfect. It's small for those very occasional times when I might end up needing to use a generator. But the generator does require regular maintenance. It does need to be started several times a year. You have to keep the gas fresh and the oil changed. And so if you have trouble starting it up, you have to address those issues. Now, you might recall that the house came with a lawnmower, and I wanted to sell the lawnmower, but it wouldn't start up. So I had a company come and take the lawnmower for repair. This wouldn't start up either because it had a fuel line problem, so they took this as well. The people who looked at the lawnmower said, hey, we'll buy it, and I worked out a deal where they repaired this in exchange for that lawnmower, and I made a few bucks as well. So this is now repaired, ready to go, and I just have to keep up on making sure it starts regularly, keeping good gas in it, keeping the fuel lines clean, that kind of a thing. You always want to make sure it starts up before a major storm is coming. So you pay attention to the news, you hear the storm's coming, you run out to the garage, you pull the cord, make sure it's going to start up for you. You also want to make sure that throughout the year you're keeping an eye on your generator and making sure it's going to be in good working order. The last thing you want to do is have your generator sit around for a year or two, because then you're going to have a lot of trouble getting it going again. And that's why I needed a major repair. I brought this with me from New York. We never used it in New York. It sat around and then needed the fuel lines cleaned out. Next up, we're going to talk about a pressure washer, which is a must-have if you're going to be a Florida homeowner. Now, if you have sidewalks in front of your house, what will happen is those sidewalks will begin to turn black, and you have to pressure wash them to keep them clean. If you don't, then your HOA is probably going to send you a letter of complaint. Now, if you don't have a pressure washer, you can pay somebody to come and clean things for you. But what fun is that? I mean, your pressure washer, you've got a gun here. You get to return back to your childhood shooting things. I mean, these things are awesome. You put a little bit of cleaning material into this reservoir. You hook it up to your garden hose. You plug it into the wall outlet, although some of these will run off of gasoline. And then you just go right to town. These are a lot of fun. And you'll use this not only to keep your sidewalks clean, but also your driveway, your porch, your pool deck, the sides of your house. You'll blast off your pool deck furniture. You can wash your car with these. These things are so important, especially here in Florida, because the humidity breeds mold. And you'll get all kinds of different kinds of mildew and mold growing all over the place. So you gotta keep things clean with your pressure washer. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching.